After disclosing a new segment of his upcoming documentary, 50 Cent was allegedly attacked and robbed. What's truly startling, though, is who could be responsible. Early reports said that a group of people had shown up at his house with the intention of kidnapping him or intimidating him into removing the documentary. Additionally, some claim that other rappers sent them and paid them. The entire industry has been taken aback by this, which raises major concerns about what these musicians might be concealing and how explosive the 50 Cent's documentary actually is. We'll analyze the leaked videos, present exclusive footage from the event, and explain what really transpired that evening in this video. If you know anything about 50 Cent, you're aware that he has spent more than 20 years being both the perpetrator and the victim of violence. He doesn't avoid confrontation. He sprints in its direction. Because 50 Cent's past makes it seem like a normal part of his life, many people accept headlines that claim he was robbed and abused right away. Let's return. Daryl Baum is said to have shot 50 Cent 9 times in 2000. After receiving intensive medical attention, 50 was able to survive because none of the 9 gunshots struck a critical area of his body. That event is one of the most well-known moments in hip-hop history. Before he ever became a popular musician, it made 50 Cent a legend. According to reports, the shooting was related to his conflict with the infamous Queens resident Supreme McGriff. At the time, there were rumors that Supreme had placed a reward on 50 Cent's life. 50 made it out alive. After he got better, he used the entire situation as fuel. In his 2005 biography, Get Rich or Die Trying, the Power star described his life narrative. However, the violence around 50 didn't end there. 50 Cent and Gunna were accused of robbing and beating MC Slow of Slow Bucks in front of 80,000 people during the Hot 97 Summer Jam concert in 2014. Members of Slow Bucks' crew were apparently on or close to the stage during Gunna's performance. All hip-hop claims that Slow Bucks employees were attacked and had their chains stolen. A gang of males were shown on camera punching and kicking a man who was lying on the ground. The purported explanation was that the Slow Bucks staff had taken a picture with rivals from the 1950s and his estranged son Mahrez, which they subsequently shared on Instagram. It was a horrible idea for 50 to upload this photo at the time. Then, in 2015, Robert Marin, a jeweler, claimed that the 50s team had mistreated him. A jeweler alleged that 50 Cent's goons had stolen $250,000 worth of jewelry and held a gun to his head, sparking a criminal probe into the rapper. LAX Jewelry Company owner Robert Marin claimed he traveled to Las Vegas to sell 50 Cent a $250,000 watch and chain. Marin claims that the 50's team urged him to visit Floyd Mayweather's gym after he stayed at the club till early Saturday morning. When he got there, he says, 2 of the rapper's crew members pistol-whipped him, took the parts, and ran away. Everything was refuted by 50 Cent's attorney. In the end, police declared that 50 Cent was not a suspect in the investigation after the lawyer referred to the accusations as unfounded and untrue. Then, in 2024, hackers robbed 50 Cent once more. 50 Cent claimed he was robbed of $300 million in crypto by hackers via his X account in just 30 minutes. Without his knowledge or consent, his website and exact account were compromised to make it seem as though he was promoting a business called Unit Cryptocurrency. In response, 50 wrote on Instagram, my Twitter and Thesis. Com were hacked, and I have no association with this crypto. He also added, Twitter worked quickly to lock my account back down. Later, authorities clarified that the hackers had actually received approximately $3 million in cryptocurrency when it was converted to stock. This is the pattern then. This man's name has been linked to jewelry robberies, he has been shot, he has been the target of on-stage beatdowns, and he has been hacked for millions of dollars. When people see a headline that says 50 Cent got robbed and beaten, they click on it. Because none of it seemed out of the ordinary in the world of the 1950s. However, let's examine the current state of affairs in 2026. You must comprehend what 50 Cent has become in the entertainment industry in order to comprehend the current state of affairs. He is no longer merely a rapper. He is a powerful figure in television. He is the executive producer of some of the most talked about television shows, and during the past year, he has made a significant shift into the documentary genre. Sean Combs, 50 Cent's largest documentary to date, was released in December 2025. Alexandria Stapleton is the director of the American television documentary miniseries The Reckoning, which explores the claims of sexual assault against rapper Sean Diddy Combs. On December 2, 2025, the series debuted on Netflix. The documentary was a huge success, and 50 himself said, "I've been committed to real storytelling for years through Gannett film and television. I'm grateful to everyone who came forward and trusted us with their stories." The show received 21.8 million views in the 6 days following its premiere, ranking second on Netflix for the week of December 1st to 8th, 2025, after Volume 1 of Stranger Things' 5th season. It received great reviews from critics, with 90 of 10 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes stating that it was methodical and serious rather than exciting. However, the documentary also sparked a huge backlash. There were questions about how 50 Cent obtained certain footage. When asked by NBC News correspondent Chloe Mellis about how he got hotel room footage included in the documentary, Jackson said, "I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources." The documentary wasn't just a cultural moment. It was a blueprint. It showed 50 Cent and the entire industry that he could take personal feuds and turn them into content that gets tens of millions of views. And he didn't stop there. In January 2026, Curtis "500 Cent" Jackson kicked off the new year collaborating with AE for a true crime series titled Gang Wars. The rapper-producer confirmed the news on Instagram, writing, "Gang Wars coming soon. AE, I got some heat." Deadline described the series as an unfiltered look into America's most infamous gang rivalries with unprecedented access and never-before-heard accounts. Then, in February 2026, 50 Cent teased a new Netflix documentary after Jay-Z was mentioned in the latest batch of Jeffrey Epstein files released by the Department of Justice. Now, it's important to note that Jay-Z's name, as well as those of Pusha T and Harvey Weinstein, didn't come from Epstein's personal records nor reports corroborated by law enforcement. They were named in an unverified tip to the FBI, archived as part of the investigation. The tip doesn't imply they were investigated and doesn't imply guilt. But 50 Cent saw an opportunity and he seized it. This is who 50 Cent is in 2026. He is a walking documentary factory. Every feud, every piece of controversy, every headline, he sees it as potential content. And that brings us to the real story, the one that has people saying he got robbed and beaten. The current beef between 50 Cent and T.I. is the context for everything, and it started with something that should have been a celebration. The spark that lit this wildfire was a Verzu battle that never happened. T revealed on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast hosted by Gilly Kid and Wallow that he and 50 Cent had been in talks to face each other in a Versus battle, a side-by-side catalog showdown. According to T.I., the two were aligned and excited about celebrating their catalogs together. Then, without explanation, 50 Cent backed out. T described the situation on the podcast. He explained, "I said, what you think about this? You want to do that, S?" He said. I said, "Yeah." He was like, "All right, cool." I told him, "I'ma jump out there first, and then you just go jump out there, and we'll line it up." He said, "All right." When I jumped out, that nuances acted like he ain't know what the __ going on. That embarrassment being left hanging publicly is what sent T over the edge. And rather than just talk about it, he decided to go to the studio. T.I. released 4 diss tracks, War, The Right One, Lessons, and What Bully, while his sons King Harris and Domini Harris also jumped in. The beef between these two is not new. It first began way back in 2006, when both rappers were debatably at their peak. While it never kicked off, there were definite signs of them not liking each other. 50 was the star of Gannett, and T.I. was the self-proclaimed king of the South. The tension began to appear in a competitive way with sneak disses. But in 2026, it erupted. The long-simmering rivalry between the New York rap icon and Atlanta's self-proclaimed king of the South erupted into rap's biggest beef of 2026. What started as a failed Versus battle proposal spiraled into a full-scale war of diss tracks, family involvement, and social media chaos. 50 Cent, rather than responding with music, did what he always does. He trolled. 50 flooded social media with jokes, memes, and pointed posts aimed at T and his family, particularly targeting his wife, Tamika, Tiny Harris, and son, King Harris. 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris on social media during his ongoing feud with her husband, T. He captioned it with a remark telling T to keep his name out of his mouth, which many people saw as mocking or disrespectful toward Tiny. When T spoke to TMZ about the whole thing, he was measured. He said, "Man, that's such last week, man. All I can say is that it's very terrible, but to be honest, I was there to defend, not to lose." In the meantime, there was a lot of interest in T.I.'s retirement record, Kill the King. One of 2020 SIX's early hits was Let Him Know. The song, which was featured on T.I.'s retirement album Kill the King, was allegedly at the top of various charts, and urban radio and DJ academics made direct analogies to the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar feud, solidifying this as one of the key rivalries of 2026. But when the kids got involved, things became very personal. This is where the story's part about being robbed and beaten begins to make sense. Although 50 Cent was not physically assaulted, as the title may imply, what T.I.'s boys did to him on wax was unprecedented for 50 Cent, and he was branded by a whole family. Two of Tip's children threw disc records at 50 Cent. One is Demony, who released a song titled Ms. Jackson. The 24-year-old rapper writes a message to 50's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who perished in a fire when the G-Unit head honcho was 8 years old. The song begins with a sample of Outkast's well-known 2000 hit of the same name. Then King Harris released his own song and music video, in which he wears a T-shirt with 50's mother's face on it. Let's take a moment to discuss that. When 50 Cent was 8 years old, his mother, Sabrina Jackson, perished in a house fire. That is among his life's defining traumas. And T.I.'s kids addressed that issue head-on. The Harris family took strong action after 50 Cent shared negative pictures of Tiny Harris. In response, King Harris wore a T-shirt with an image of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in an apartment fire when 50 was only 8 years old. King Harris didn't end with a single song. Demony and King Harris responded with 2 more diss recordings as the conflict between 50 and their father persisted. King Harris released a brand new song titled Drop Top on Friday, March 6th. King posted a video of his father with 50 Cent and Daphne Joy on Instagram and mentioned the violent accusations she made against him, writing, "Herda got day M's Jackson OG packs out here, F of 500 and this MF blowing GG." In his most recent disc track, Demony also brought up the accusations. He released his song Pewee along with a picture that seemed to contain Joy's previous statements. In his song, he also makes reference to Joy and makes references to 50 Cent's criticism of her. Additionally, King Harris released documents claiming that 50 Cent had turned on Jimmy Henchman. Snitching G is one of the most destructive accusations you can make in the hip-hop culture. King Harris wasn't merely making fun of 50 Cent. He was attempting to destroy his whole reputation. Rick Ross also jumped in. Rick Ross, who is also not a fan of 50 Cent, co-signed King Harris's criticism of 50 Cent by posting in the comments, "Need that T and a 3XT. Bro, 50 doesn't appear to be that concerned about the songs despite everything." He has been boasting about his accomplishments in the TV industry on Instagram. 50 Cent hasn't yet released any music in response. He has only used social media, sharing jokes, memes, and specific photos directed against T.I. and his family. On the Abro Laura Rosenberg show, T himself talked about his son's participation. The rapper from Atlanta reaffirmed that he didn't require a feud with 50 to raise exposure of his popular song, Let Him Know. But when asked if he enjoyed Sons King and Demony becoming involved in the conflict, Tip replied that he didn't. Therefore, there isn't a physical assault involved in the robbed and battered framing. It concerns 50 Cent's cultural situation. He has 4 T.I. diss tunes. Demony and King Harris have sent him diss recordings. Rick Ross is co-signing with him. People are bringing up his late mother, the accusations made by his ex-girlfriend, and documents related to snitching. He hasn't produced a single bar of music in response to all of this. Many hip-hop fans believe that's being robbed. An entire family robbed you of your rapper reputation and defeated you in the public opinion arena. However, this is where the narrative really shifts. Due to 50 Cent's lack of musical response, he answered with something much riskier. 50 Cent released what many believe to be his true reaction on March 5, 2026. Not a freestyle, a documentary threat, or a diss track. 50 Cent fueled the rumors on Thursday, March 5th, with an Instagram post that has since been removed. Many fans saw the post's screenshot of a story that said, 50 Cent is reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary, a surviving as proof that something was in the works. In the caption, 50 words were written that sent the internet into a frenzy. Do you recall how silent I became before Diddy? 50 Cent wrote, Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person. That is a threat, a direct one. And given what 50C just did with his Netflix documentary, the one that got over 21 million views in its first week, the threat carries real weight. The rumored documentary would reportedly deal with allegations that have followed T and Tiny for years. In January 2021, an Atlanta entrepreneur named Sabrina Peterson publicly accused T of holding a gun to her head. This single accusation acted as a catalyst, opening a floodgate. Dozens of women began coming forward with stories alleging a system where T.I. and Tiny would invite women to VIP sections or hotel suites, provide them with drinks spiked with substances, and assault them. However, despite the volume of these accusations, the legal outcomes heavily favored the Harris family. Criminal investigations were opened in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, but no criminal charges were ever formally filed, largely because the statute of limitations had already expired. The rumor about the documentary originally came from blogger Tasha K. Tasha K took to Twitter on Saturday, February 28th, to claim that she spoke to alleged sources reportedly connected to the Gun It Moguls team. The blogger alleged that he's working on a documentary about the Georgia couple and their alleged drugging and assault accusations. Of course, this doesn't have any official confirmation from either side. And here's the thing about Tasha K as a source. It's important to note Tasha K's past trouble with online claims. She lost a defamation suit from Cardi B. But whether the documentary is real or not almost doesn't matter. 50 Cent understands that in the modern era of instant viral media, the sheer threat of an exposing documentary often hits significantly harder than the actual project itself. By weaponizing a deleted Instagram post, 50 Cent managed to force T.I. onto the defensive, drag his past traumas back into the mainstream headlines, and control the entire hip-hop narrative without having to spend a single dollar on production. And 50 wasn't done. In another comment he posted, Fif wrote, "New music today." He's probably trolling, but it might be an indication that 50 Cent will respond to the diss recordings by T and his kid. As of March 2026, there is no verified production schedule, network deal, or actual footage to confirm that Surviving T.I. and Tiny even exists. But that's the genius of what 50 Cent does. He deleted the post. He left the question mark. And now every interview T.I. does for his album, every press run, every podcast, someone is going to ask about those allegations. While this could all be 50 Cent just blowing smoke and trolling, these are big words coming from a person who just participated in a documentary against someone he doesn't care for. So now, let's bring this full circle. Did 50 Cent get robbed and beaten in 2026? Not physically, no. There is no verified report of 50 Cent being physically robbed or attacked in connection to his documentary work or his current beefs. But what happened to him in the public sphere of hip-hop is something that would qualify as a beating by any cultural measure. T.I. dropped 4 diss tracks on him. King Harris dropped multiple records bringing up his dead mother. Demany dissected his personal life on record. Rick Ross co-signed the attacks. People dropped alleged snitching paperwork. And 50 Cent, The man who built his career on destroying enemies with music didn't respond with a single bar. Instead, he used the one weapon that no one else in hip-hop has: the ability to turn your darkest moments into a 4-part Netflix documentary. And with the surviving T and Tiny threat hanging over the Harris family's head, the question isn't whether 50 Cent got robbed and beaten. The question is whether T and his family just made the biggest mistake of their careers by giving 50 Cent a reason to start filming. For now, the rap battle may not be happening, but the drama between the two stars is still very much alive. And if 50 Cent really is working on a surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary, this feud might soon move from Instagram and diss tracks to the small screen. And knowing 50 Cent's track record with the Netflix documentary with the AE Gang Wars series with the Epstein teases, nobody should be surprised if he actually follows through. Because if there's one thing 50 Cent has proven over and over again, it's this: he doesn't fight you where you want to fight. He fights you where you can't defend yourself. T wanted a rap battle. 50 Cent gave him a documentary scare. The Harris family dropped diss tracks. 50 Cent posted screenshots of headlines about sexual assault allegations. That's the fight. And right now, nobody knows who's winning, but everybody is watching. And for 50 Cent, that's always been the entire